a white dude. Ben, is it Ben something?
Dave McManaman.
Dave McMenamin. He covers the Lakers.
Okay.
I'll make sure. Are he well? Does he work for ESPN too? See the ESPN or the Athletic?
ESPN.
So they found they tied the knot. Good for them.
Yep, they got married this past weekend.
Yeah, he works for ESPN and he primarily covers the Lakers. All right, I gotta do one thing. Let me tweet that we are live. Hold on. Let me see. Where we at with it? Man.
Top comment says, "You kept the comments open. I respect that." And then like somebody was like, "I'm confused," and then like she married a white dude, like like the like.
Hilarious. All right. Oh, there it is right there. I'll have to even search for the name. Quote. All right. Got my usual tap in. Post. I'm going to close. Well, let me look at one last thing so I can look at this setup. Oh, I do that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you may find yourself as you listen to this and you're tuned in to the only sports podcast with brains and bars. It's a black and white thing featuring A1 and A Ward. Please remember you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you find a good podcast, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars, giving us 5 stars there, leave a comment as well, but also share. Same thing for the YouTube, at Brains and Bars on YouTube. Remember to hit the notification bell, like if you're watching us live, comment, share the broadcast, tell a friend and tell a friend. It's those boys again. And our social media at Brains and Bars. That's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And as usual, I'm joined by the good homie A Ward. What's good, man?
Just realized that we might have to change the intro. I mean, the Pat Bev podcast technically has Brains and Bars, and so we might not be able to say you're tuned into the only podcast.
The first, we'll say the first one. Then we were the first.
Yes. We started. we started this wave.
We started this barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm tired like always, but it's Tuesday, so got home yesterday from Boston. Great weekend. Getting ready to go to Alaska this weekend for another battle, and so just right back to the grind, man. But I'm good,
man. So I mean, as if you can see the headline here, what we're here to do. We're here to talk about Massacre 6 put on by TBL and King of the Dot. First of all, let me say shout out to y'all. It was a dope weekend. I feel like when you have, I think there are 17 battles on the card. And when you have that many battles, I kind of equate it to having a parlay, right? And the more legs you add to the parlay, the higher the likelihood of it falling apart. And when you have that many battles, look, we've seen cards with 5 battles have terrible, outcomes, poor performances all across the board, right? So to have that many battles, I feel like, granted, not every performance was clean, not every performance was perfect, but in every battle, you had at least one artist who carried the weight in that particular battle if someone wasn't up to snuff and up to par. And that's all you can ask for. And I think that the artists are to be commended or to be saluted for that, for coming through, doing their thing. The stream was pretty. There was a couple of hiccups here and there, but shout out to Ruin Your Day and their entire team for keeping things running smoothly so that we, the fans at home who are watching, could watch. And to the breakout stars of the event, to Rosenberg Raw and Brosenberg, man, Frozen Bros, like they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. Like I really enjoyed. Granted, I'm always trying to listen because we're in the content creation business. I'm always listening to, whether it's URL and it's Jay Black and it's Nunu and DNA, whoever or Showtime and Vada Fly, I'm always listening to the commentary to see how they're handling things because this is live. It's live. We're going to do it live, right? It's live TV, and you're trying to juggle a bunch of things all at one time. And I thought that they did incredible. Rosenberg to me, and I really meant this, it was a Bob Costas like intro. If you remember the NBA on NBC, during the playoffs, during the NBA finals, big matchups, Bob Costas would start the proceedings with a monologue to prepare you for the game. And that's how you knew it was must-see TV. It was a big game. And Rosenberg's introduction, talking to the fans about, maybe battle rap hasn't been what you've wanted it to be lately, but we've got a great card and so on and so forth. I thought he did that eloquently. I would love to ask him if that was rehearsed. I mean, he is a battle rapper.
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
Before the event started, I'm at the event and I go upstairs and I just see Rosenberg pacing in a circle like he's got a battle, like rapping. And I'm just like looking at him and I'm just kind of like, yo, like, you good? Like, you ain't battling, man. And he's like, no, bro. I just got this intro that I wrote out that I just really want to, like, make sure I hammer it, And I was just like, oh, okay, dope, And then I just didn't think nothing of it, And then until, like, that night after the event, I got on Twitter and saw, like, his intro. And I was just like, wow, that dude really had a 90-second round. Like, just, like, boom. Like, it just, and smoked it, bro. Like, it was great.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So again, salute to them, man. Like, I think that's dope. I feel like those two, because I feel like Rosenberg also with his questions, with his opinions, I don't feel like he slacked in any way. I think he did a great job of setting up Rosenberg to deliver analysis of what was happening from a battle rap perspective. I felt like if he disagreed, he did so in a respectful way that kept the dialogue going. So again, shout out to those guys, man. I really respect and appreciate the work that they did. Now I'm trying to sit here and find. You got me thinking too. I got a lot of.
I was trying to like make sure, it was like super high.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to find. Shout out to JC. We're gonna try to get you and Drew on next week. Talk some football. Mama Ward in the building. So I'm trying to sit here and find this doggone. While we've been talking, I thought Chilla had one, but it's not split up between day one and day two. That's the media I'm looking for, just so we can kind of go from the bottom of the card to the top. But I am not seeing it on his page, and it was there for the longest time. Actually, here I got it. I did not get a chance to watch the either of Stretch versus GK or Lefty versus Tusabe. So I apologize to you, gentlemen. My apologies, pardon self. I didn't get a chance to watch those. So, and those I don't think were live in the building, right? Like those were recorded. I think
those were done on Friday. So they did them on Friday outside, back behind the hotel. And there was a lot of people over there. I was going over rounds, and I was in the hotel, so I was literally Squidward from the window, like looking out, and just and seeing all of the stuff and hearing all the reactions. So, I talked to Stretch afterwards, and I talked to is one dude's name Leaky something or
Lefty.
Okay, Lefty. I think I talked to a couple of the guys. That they seemed like it was a decent couple battles. You know what I mean? You got some reaction stuff, but I didn't really hear like who won or who didn't. I just know that it was Mike Masters' talent versus TBL. Mike Masters versus TBL. So like, that's pretty cool because Mike Masters had a hand in sponsoring, affiliates of Mike Masters had some hand in sponsoring the event. TBL obviously was a big, reason why Massacre 6 happened. So I thought that was cool for them to have a couple of their battlers each, there to put on.
All right, so I'll try to check them out, man. Like if there are any clips, anything I can share, I'll definitely try to do that as well.
Just so you can leave these comments up a little longer if you want. Like I just.
I'm sorry. I'll pull this comment back up. Yeah, okay. Chip Stackton says, still don't understand how Ward keeps getting better, one of the best in the world.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Chip, man. Thank you, man. No, I really do, man. I really do appreciate it, bro.
Shout out to this comment.
Mama seen him. It don't matter if anybody else saw him. Mama seen him.
Shout out to Mama Ward. Stretch, you got some work to do to impress Mama Ward though. So get back in
Yeah,
the
if
lab,
I'm
man.
familiar with
Come back.
Stretch, you can go watch him. He battled Loso when I battled Emerson Kennedy, I believe. So Loso battled Stretch out there that day that I battled Emerson Kennedy, and the day Saga battled the Source, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm thinking of a different battle where Loso battled and you two were on the same card, but that was a different that might have anyway. I don't want to get down the rabbit trail. All right, so first battle. Also, let me say this too. Last thing. Shout out to Takeover and KOTD for putting the first couple of battles of the night on YouTube for fans to tune in for free. I thought that was really cool. It gave you a little bit of an appetizer, and if you wanted to see more, right, you had to go to kotdtv.com to go check it out. So E Farrell versus Pepe. Did you get a chance to see that one at all?
Yeah, I was right there. I watched that whole battle.
So how'd you call that one?
I thought E Farrell won the battle. Pretty clear. I thought Pepe had some good moments, some good rebuttals. Thing with Pepe, sometimes it's just the delivery, the pacing. A lot of people get on to him about his voice and how he kind of changes it a little bit to battle. I think that he can kind of find some different ways to, do a little bit more with tone and pacing and stuff like that. But I didn't think he did bad at all. I didn't think he got smoked at all. E Farrell is a vet. E Farrell's from the area too. We have to take this into everything. There was a lot of battles where it was a TBL guy or a New England battle rapper. It was, so E Farrell's there, from Connecticut. So E Farrell's just really, man, he's just really good. He's really good. He's going to give you that solid, creative, witty wordplay, stuff you've never heard before, and do it really well. The bar of the battle for me was, Steve Irwin. I'll be catching rays till the day that I die. I thought that was super fire. He's talking about being on a beach. It's like, yo, super fire. But I mean, Pepe had the nice line. What do you say? Have you brain dead? Something like leave you in brain dead in Connecticut, where they'll find you in CTE. I thought that was dope. How you put that together. But yeah, there was some good bars. But yeah, I hit E Farrell, but good battle to kick off the night. Like energy, crowd reaction, stuff like that. Not anything to be like, that should have never been on this card. I think both of them did their numbers.
Yeah. I liked. I had E Farrell winning too. I think the third round was the highlight of the battle from E Farrell. Like you said, I agree. Pepe, decent bars, good bars, nice back and forth. But I feel like at least maybe first and third, I thought E Farrell got those two rounds pretty clearly. All right, let's jump to the next one. Excel versus Chef Trez. Okay, I had Chef Trez. Excuse me. First and third, the rebuttals from Chef. Chef turned up in his third round as well. And I say this: I feel like in each round, Excel had good material. I feel like there's a ceiling over his head, though. I don't know other way to explain it. It just feels like he's always on the cusp of breaking through, and it just never seems to happen for him. But I respect the fact that he continues to fight and keep swinging. But yeah, I had Chef Trez in that one first and third.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest with you, I had it as a debatable battle. I didn't have clearly Chef Trez winning. I had Chef Trez clearly winning the third round. I think that was like the best round to me of the battle. I think the first and second could be debated. So I didn't necessarily lean it completely to Trez. But I think that when you see somebody in the third round kind of level up a little bit better than anybody's been in the battle, you know what I mean? You kind of go away thinking like, all right, Chef Trez with the rebuttals and the way he structured his third round, like he was the better battler. But yes. I just think if we're looking at it from the whole round one, round two, round three, I think the first two rounds are both debatable. So.
And I wouldn't be mad if someone tried to make a case for Excel in that battle. Yeah. And I think your point is, I feel like in a couple of battles during this two-night event that there were artists who had really strong third rounds that I do think could be what shifts how someone may call a battle. So I absolutely think you're right about that. Yeah. All right, this next one. This is one I didn't get a chance to watch all the way through. I feel like I had some events I was going to, and so I was getting ready to get the family together to get out the house. Real Deal versus Mike P. I need to go, so I'll turn this over to you because I didn't get a chance to see all of this one. I've seen parts.
Yeah.
So,
highly considered to be battle of the night, or best back and forth, of the night. Man, it was really, really good. It was nice, Mom. It was really good from the first round to the third round. Both battlers locked in, no stumbles, both doing exactly what they do best at a high level. Mike comes out the gate, it's aggression, punchlines. It's let it flash on deal for a limited time only. It's a very creative ways. Even the opener, your son's Shaq impression is dogs like just the way he's attacking Real Deal, super fire. I think the highlight of the battle for me is the way their second rounds both lined up were so dope. They both starts the round off with like, you told Holmesy the God, and then Real Deal's second round is like, you told Thesaurus, and they have this like just hilarious spin on it that kept you entertained, had you laughing. And in third round, the closers as well. I thought that, the clear thing was that I think Mike was in some like, I'm going to talk to his soul type third round, with not like a whole lot of punches, but just like a lot of things that he feels is true, which is tough because when you feel something is true, that's fire. You have to convince the world that that's true, and if the world is not ready to hop on board, even if it is, it's tough. So I think that I think Real Deal took the third round clearly. What up, Nate? I think Real Deal took the third round clearly, and then when you go back to it, man, it's a close battle too. I think I had edge Real Deal, I believe, in the second as well, and I think I had Mike taking the first. But it's just similar. Those first two rounds are very very close as well. It's also a case of a situation where if Real Deal goes first, it might go second. It might look a little different because they're responding to each other's angles the entire battle.
Yeah.
Real Deal saying, I'm the first guy on White Guy on Smack. Like, you took my whole style, my whole steez 3 years later. Then Mike P saying like, oh, you broke the color barrier on Sack. You know what I mean? Like, it's everything really lined up. Just a beautiful battle.
Yes, the clips I've seen, I got a chance to, I think, see all of the second and third. I think I missed the first from both of them. When he calls him Smacky Robinson, Martin Luther King of the Dot. Really good. Real Deal, was it you told about the root beer thing? I'll, pop your top and fill your mug. Like that whole angle. When he got into the, you're Italian, that part.
Everything was so hilarious, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely, like, let me just say this now, and I might say it again at various points as we go through this recap. If you have not gotten a chance to see these battles, go to KOTDTV.com. I don't know how much the VOD is because I copped the pay-per-view in the moment, but go check these battles out, man. Like, you will not be disappointed. We're talking about maybe 20 hours worth of material. So whatever you spend on that, it'll be worth your investment if you're a battle rap fan. So yes, really good back and forth. That's one I need to go back and watch in its entirety. All right. So next up was your battle, Thesaurus versus A Ward. How do you feel your battle went, sir?
And I feel really good. I feel, I had said when going into it, and you never know what your material or how it's going to translate, how you're going to perform. I've written material that I'm like, this is A+ material, and got up there and thought, oh, wow, that ended up being B material. I've written, material that I thought was C+ and ended up being A, and I just try to be honest with what I got, how much time I know I put into it, how I feel about the rounds and everything like that. Going into the battle, I felt really good about my first and third round. I felt like my second needed a little bit more, to the point to where I even added like 8 bars to it the day of the battle because I was just like, it's just not, it's not hitting the way I want it to, So going, so I'm anticipating, like always, Thesaurus to be the best Thesaurus we've seen, in years, because that seems to be what I normally have to go up against, So I'll say this much, like, he wasn't, in my opinion, he wasn't like the thesaurus that battled Frack. He wasn't, the thesaurus that battled Fresco. I thought he was, not at that level. And I think with his first round, with him cutting it short and it not being a full round, kind of come across as like, I wouldn't know if I would call it a choke, but he kind of cut it short after, whatever. And my first round being like a nuclear missile, like it's just a really, like it was really difficult to like ever come back from that for him. Almost to the point to where the second round didn't even matter. You know what I mean? It was like, and then we got to the third, and like I thought going into the battle, my first and third were really, really good. And then I thought that my third round was really good as well. But yeah, man, I said going into it a couple things. One, I had told, I think 3 Letterman, I was just like, it's about time that I really start getting like these clear wins over guys. You know what I mean? Like to separate some things, because what happens, like I said, like I go in there and I face somebody's best performance, or I face somebody's great performance that just happens to be 2 times longer than mine, or whatever. And I'm figuring out, I'm trying to find my way through debatables and different things while I'm performing at a high level. And it's like, so I did that. And yeah, man, just shout out to the source, man. Like I felt like, that, he posted something on Twitter that he had in the battle, and I read it, and I'm like, yo, wow, that's really good. But like on paper is one thing, you still got to rap it, you got to deliver it, you got to hammer it home, and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of guys that rhyme really well, a lot of guys that can rhyme really well, and that's just unfortunate. If that was the case, Chilla Jones would have 3-0'd T-Rex, because I guarantee you on paper, Chilla Jones rounds rhyme and are lyrically and punchline, better than T-Rex's, So, yeah, shout out to Pete, man. I had a great time. It was refreshing to get off the stage, and people to just be like, yo, that round, that first round. People saying it's one of my better rounds of my career. Like going into the battle, I didn't expect that. I knew my first and third were really good, but I didn't expect the first round to translate as a career type round for me, and that's really dope.
So before I chime in, let's talk about the setup here of the venue, right? Being there, because I've seen photos, and it seems like that pit, like once people got there, it was very tight. Obviously, there's a balcony up top. So yeah. How big was that venue that you guys battled in?
I mean, it was pretty big. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty big. It was, I can't put a number on how many people were there, but you didn't feel like, you felt like it was wall to wall. There's rafters behind you with the steps where people were standing up. Over here, there's, you felt like it was pretty much wall to wall. I think that on the second night, once it got to Big K and Rock, like you could it was way more packed for Big K and Rock than like any other battles that weekend. So like some people, but yeah, it felt very packed, and I look over, and that's the one thing that's, I've made some great friends in battle rap, some great friends in battle rap. And, I've made not even just great friends, I've just made relationships and friendships with people to where, when I'm standing there, like people will stand on my side, even if it might not be like my guy, you know what I mean? Like, but they rock with me, you know what I mean? And so, I look behind me, and I've got, obviously, Quest and Shad and Saga. But then I'm also looking like there's Tay-Rock standing there, you know what I mean? Like, we battled earlier this year. We have a good friendship, and I look at kind of at the Source's side, and I'm like, he's kind of like Dolo out here, and a lot of the Cali guys were like that. Pass was like that. Geechee wasn't, because Geechee's kind of like URL. He's got it all, whatever. But there's a lot of times there were guys out there, and it was just like, yo, if you don't got that energy behind me, I had guys supporting me, going crazy, different things. That energy helps you a whole lot. I don't know that it's really considered gas as long as your material's translating. I mean, I don't think I was getting gassed and all was bombing, but having that energy really helps out your performance.
Yeah. I mean, just looking, like I said, from the photos, I've seen some of that you've taken from different battles. Some I've seen others take. That's why I was curious of the size, because obviously it's got to be a nice size venue if you have a balcony, right? And you have people up there who can take photos. And then, like I said, obviously the Rock and K battle, it is jam packed. But even with your battle, like it doesn't look like it's a small amount of people there. Like it.
Yeah, no, no.
So I was curious. Obviously, pit style. I know that is something that, based on the pay-per-views that I watch, that Avocado prefers. Right, he likes to have that, to have those guys kind of all be really impacted and tied up against one another. But yeah, I was curious about that. So, all right, let's keep it moving. I don't want to prolong the time, so I know we want to make sure we got a lot of battles to get through. All right, so next battle, Sharon versus 40 Bars.
Yeah, I was doing my interviews and didn't get to hear the first round, which is really frustrating because from what I gathered or what I heard is that 40 Bars had an incredible first round. It's a debatable.
Her first is really good.
She might have taken, in the building. The only thing about that is that when you go into your second round and choke as bad as she choked in the second round and like lose that second round so badly and then lose that third, it kind of makes people want to like, revisit and be like, it's a 30 ball because, you got smoked the rest of the way out. You know what I mean? But from what I heard, that first round was crazy. I had heard Sharon's 3 rounds, before because we sparred and everything. And I thought, man, like, like energy wise, projection wise, all that kind of stuff. Like he's going to go up here and be barking on her. Like she better be ready. You know what I mean? And because, and that's why I was happy to hear that she came out in the first swinging like that. I was like, oh, okay. I just wish that she could have had 2 more rounds like that because, man, if she could have matched Sharon semi like that in 3 rounds like that, it could have been one of the best intergender battles probably of all time if she was hitting like in the first round. You know what I mean? And because it just, they were both, that was the top of her game type material from what the clips I did see and watch, and then what people were telling me too. So, but I'm not going to quote T-Rex from the Face Off about ifs, but I'll go with the other quote as a kid. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas all year long, right? So so like that's she definitely lost clearly. Sharon with what people might consider body of the night outside me and Source.
Yeah, so somehow, I don't know how I was in and out. I did see their first rounds. I know during the predictions, I was like, I don't know what the heck 40 is going to say to Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that first round, I was like, okay, 40. Okay. And then after that, I did get off. I did not get back on the rest of the night. And then I got to hear about, unfortunately, she choked in the second and the third round. Sharon, who has had a really, really good year. I don't know every battle he's done this year, but I know he was really good versus Danny. Here again, I don't know if he's going to make the 4 battle requisite, but that's someone that we might have to, if he gets to that 4 battle requisite for Cody, like he might be someone who, based on those 2 performances, should safely be on the list. Shout out to Dre in the building.
Yeah, he might. I'm trying to think. I do know for sure he has. I don't think they count. I don't think they count the compliment battles because he's locked in, with Loso for the compliment battle. But he does have. Hold on. You can always pull a Battler's Genius, and it has their entire resume year to year. So if you go find Sharon Genius, and then it also has what they've been booked for. So 2024, yeah, Sharon Cali Smooth, which was 3 rounds. Sharon Danny Myers, Sharon Anderson Burris, Sharon Emerson Kennedy, Sharon Shuffle T, and 40 Bars. So yeah, he's done quite a bit this year, and he smoked, man. He smoked Shuffle T. Where did he battle Emerson Kennedy at?
I wonder, was that a 1 rounder?
Out of him, 3 rounds on Riot when the Gaza, right? Wasn't not Gaza, Raza at the Riot when I battled Cali Smooth.
Oh, when you battled Cali, okay.
Yep, and he beat Emerson Kent. Wow, so he's undefeated. Was him and Danny Myers too? I don't remember. Oh yeah, he got crazy in New Orleans. Like he was one of the few people. Yo, low key, Sharon might have the names on here, are tough to do. You give Danny credit. Sharon has a top 20 to me champion of the year, resume already. And he just messaged me and told me that he's locked in with something that's super crazy that's probably going to be announced here in the next week that y'all will be like, whoa, what? So.
I mean, I've never heard it. I've never heard the saying. So shout out to Dre. He said if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it would be Christmas all year long. I've never heard that in my 40 years of living. Ward is a legend.
Yo, did you hear what T-Rex said to Face Off though?
No, I did not hear. I didn't watch any of the Face Offs.
Whenever Uncle Rod asked T-Rex if he was gonna win, like how was he gonna beat Chilla? And T-Rex looked at him and said, if my mom she'd be my dad. What do you mean? like, yo, all right, Rex. He's like, when I kicked it. Like,
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Too funny.
That's definitely what Mama used to tell me.
All right. Let's jump to, speaking of T-Rex and Chilla Jones, let's talk about that battle. Again, I didn't see this one either. I told myself I was going to watch it as soon as I got to the crib, and I did not. But
yeah, anytime you battle early in the card, there's you go do your interview and you try to come back. Like after you battle, you're trying to like be back invested, but like people are coming up to you, they want to do they're congratulating you, you're doing this, you're tired, the adrenaline, you want to go sit down, you don't want to be right back up behind. So I'm listening to Rex and Chilla from the balcony. But I'm also kind of multitasking. I can tell the crowd reaction is like severely going Rex's way, like in the first round. I'm just like, whoa. I remember thinking at the end of the first round, like, yo, Rex got that round clearly. You know what I mean? I'm also remember thinking like, it's a Rex type thing to have one amazing round. And then, and so I remember the second round goes, Rex has a good second round too. But I thought like, Chilla edged it. And I do remember in the building seeing people say 1-1, some hands going 1-1 or whatever. So the third round, it seemed to me in the building that Rex got the third round clearly as well. When you're asking around and you're talking to battle rappers, you're talking to different guys, it's like, what? Like Rex won that battle, but Chilla clearly had the better material. You hear that, like somehow Rex clearly won that battle, but Chilla clearly had the better material. And it's just battle rap, you know what I mean? Like a nostalgia about you or a performance or a whatever, like a controlling the crowd and different things like that. Whether your material is catered or makes sense all the time or whatever, whereas, Chilla is Pendulum Inc. He's very technical. He's very everything. There's a punchline in absolutely everything, he's back to back doing a lot,
I've never heard anybody say that someone won the battle, but the other person was better.
Better material, like just better, like, you know what I mean? Like
wow.
Yeah. And so that's,
I
heard multiple people say that, but it's like, at the end of the day, we always say like, hey, like, it's not all about the bars. It's really not.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Sue Surf. Sue Surf was, he was one of the main people who talked about,
Rex slammed that hat all 3 rounds is what I heard. I didn't see it. They said he slammed it all 3 rounds.
So shout out to Mama Ward. She says, I'm conflicted. Chilla had really good bars. Rex was screaming his bars and doing the hat thing. So let me say this. I need to watch this one back, and I want to watch this one back because I heard this was a really good battle too. There is not a battle. I've been in the culture heavily invested for 7 years. I have never seen an artist who, when he taps into what people consider to be like their prime, their top level, their high level, that can get fans excited the way Rex does.
Oh, yeah.
Rex, the first time I really saw Rex battle was Summer Madness 7 versus Reed Dollaz. Rex has you talked about it earlier. Rex had a really good first round. He does the hat slam in the first. It is pandemonium in that building. People online are going crazy, right? I've seen clips of he was battling some kid not too long, like it might have been last year. He battles a kid, right? He gets his bars off. He actually knocked the hat off his head by accident, caught it in the air, then slammed it on the punch. Everybody's going crazy. And that clip, and people like, man, I could never hate Rex. This is my GOAT. Y'all can't never make me turn against this. Like, chess is like this. Twerk is like this. I feel like surf is like this. To a degree, rock is like this. But there is not a battle rapper alive that when they seem to tap into whatever the height of their professional career, they love Rex. I mean, love Rex. And again,
Lloyd Banks tweets like, yo, Rex is Rex. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I've seen people say like Chilla was really good, but it was Rex. Rex was, like you said, Rex was Rex 30 or Rex 2-1. And I'm like, dang, that's kind of crazy. Like, you're calling this battle essentially off of nostalgia and aura. And it does not mean, when I say that, I'm not saying that Rex wasn't good. I watched this first round. I think at that point it was 1 o'clock in the morning and I passed out. I couldn't keep my eyes open any longer. So I did watch their first rounds. Rex's first round was really good. He definitely had the building. And at that point I passed out. So I need to go watch the second and third rounds. But yeah, man, like it is a phenomenon that I am fascinated by. With the way people love Rex when he taps into like that prime mid 2010s Rex. So,
yep.
All right, man. Last battle from day one: Geechee Gotti versus Marv Won. I'll start and I'll let you finish up. Shout out to Marv Won, man. I saw when this battle was announced. It was one of the first battles that was now. I think maybe the second one. When this battle got announced, all in the comments: Geechee 30. Marv can't do nothing with him. He's going to get smoked. He's going to die. I hope that the apologies are going to be as loud as the disrespect was from those people in the comments. Because let me tell you something. This was a battle I did go and watch immediately when I got back to the crib. If Marv doesn't fumble that second, we're going to be talking about Marv's performance up there for performance of the night on day one. We're going to be talking about Marv's performance as one of the best 3-round performances of the weekend. And we're going to be talking about a body against Geechee Gotti if he doesn't fumble that second round. Geechee, first and third, I know he said he was kind of dealing with some stuff, going through some things, but first and third, he phoned it in. He was there to collect the check. He was there so he wouldn't get fined. Marv, first and third, incredible. And even his second round, where he does the whole setup of talking about massacres that are happening. If you get crazy in here, what's today? August 20-something, 2024 is going to be another mass shooting. And like crazy. Some of his sports bars, crazy sports bars. A lot of good sports bars this weekend, by the way.
Not for me.
You know, well, I mean, I'm a shooter and the driver, Curry and James, and I'm ending with the Vic like Serbian names.
That was good.
Yes, I really like that. So I mean, like, you know, salute to Marv, man. It was a clear 2-1 first and third from him. I wish he wouldn't have fumbled that second because, like I said, we would be having a different conversation about him if that doesn't happen. I'll let you finish that up, sir.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it sucks. It sucks that that your opponent's lack of preparation can highly affect how often people talk about your battle or what they think about the battle or what they think about your material. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, because Geechee didn't come in there and really compete, you know, it opens up that window of people saying like, yeah, Geechee didn't care, you know what I mean? Just came in there for a check. When Marv really put together 3 really, really good, incredible rounds. And even if Geechee had been in there doing what Geechee does, we're talking about a battle of the night, like a clash of the Titans.
For sure.
And so, you know, I thought Marv, you know, his first round was so good. His third round was so good. And I know his second round was good because I heard it, you know what I mean? And, you know, we sparred plenty of times. And, you know, that second round opener, it was like, man, that's probably going to take the roof off. That's probably going to get a lot of reaction, you know? And, you know, those are just those situations that you can't replicate in sparring your material. You know what I mean? Really, you know, like you want to believe, you know, when crowd reaction is going to come, and then you want to say, and with Marv, you know, the crowd reaction, and then he's like, it's so much. What's the next line? You know, and when you blank from what's the next line, you know, if you can't grab it pretty quick, you have to make a business decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's good, Elijah. You have to make that business decision. give it a couple more seconds and seem like give the public know I'm choking, or go into some freestyles or what, And Marv, he was able to kind of go into his freestyles, get into a freestyle bag, show that he still got a little bit of that, you know what I mean? Like if he needs to. But ultimately, he'll tell you, he told me, he's like, I left some money on the table this weekend. I left money on the table. First and third, crazy rounds. Clear win, you know what I mean, over Geechee Gotti. But I really hope that people look at that first and third and say, like, yo, this is great writing. This is great. Marv is still putting together rounds that are really, really good for battle rap, and they don't look at that battle and say, yeah, Geechee phoned it in. Marv took the first and third. I don't, that you don't want that to be the narrative, but unfortunately, it's battle rap. So.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I said, man, and at the end, I'll kind of go back and talk about some of the more standout performances that won't get as much of the focus, because this was one of them, even with the fumble in the second. All right, let's jump into day two, man. Day two, let me say this. You talked about how a lot of these battles that, people they're not the ones that maybe people showed up to see per se. Their energy was there. You talked about E. Farrell and Pepe. Great energy to start that one. XL and Chef Trez, great back and forth. Like that first night, I think I saw one of the battle rap group chats we're in. They go 9 out of 10. They go, if 40 doesn't choke in 2 and 3, it's probably a 10 out of 10 event. So that was high praise. Starting day two, Emerson Kennedy versus City Towers. I told y'all when we went through the predictions, City Towers was going to show up to work because of what happened on iBattle, and he did absolutely that. Second round, he takes a risk with the radio scheme, with the payoff with the punch about you don't want no static. Super dope. Emerson Kennedy, first of all, this is hilarious. I went and looked up his verse tracker to see what his resumes look like for 2024. Emerson, you got to hit up verse track and tell them to update your picture. You look like you're 13 years old in this photo, my God. Like, you look super young in this photo on verse tracker. Shout out to Double V in the building. Like, so that's number one. But number two, Emerson Kennedy has been putting in work, man. Like, and Emerson Kennedy is, to me, he's one of my favorite rappers to if he's on the card, I'm definitely going to be tuned into his battle, because he had 3 super dope rounds. City was dope. They brought the energy. They brought the aggression. They turned up, and that's the way you want to start off a pay-per-view. That's the way you want to start off a day two. Your thoughts on City Towers versus EK?
Yeah, man, I was very, very impressed. I was very impressed with City. I love that, the outside the box stuff. So singing when you're not necessarily a singer, you know what I mean, is tough to do. But like you said, he stuck with it. He got the reaction. City's another one of those guys that's from that area, so he had some of his guys with him. He cooked every round. The thing about me, and I said it, last week, is like EK's to me is one of the best writers in battle rap. He's just so good, man. Even the indirect stuff. What's going on, Chris? Even some of the indirect stuff, like the ADD angle to start, like I think his second, where he's just like, it's 11 o'clock, boom, boom, I'm supposed to be focused here. He's like, oh, I'm on Sydney Sweeney's Instagram. He's like, it's just like, that's just, to me, relates, because it's the life of a battle rapper. I'm writing today for this guy, Ratchet Rico, and then all of a sudden I'm looking down and I'm on a fantasy football app, figuring this out. Then I go to this, and an hour and a half passed by, So like, EK to me is one of the best writers. And then when EK starts like feeling himself, pause if necessary, like it's so like he turns it up a notch. He slams that water bottle, he gets in like that zone of like, it's always fun to see, man. I had EK winning the battle, but I definitely thought City's performance was great. And like, I went from it like, yo, this was a little bit step up. That battle was a little bit better than yesterday's opening battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So boom. All right, we're already on a good trajectory for what's about to happen tonight, because that was a great opening battle.
Absolutely. I had EK as well, like I said. But again, man, like I promise y'all, again, KOTDTV.com. Go get this VOD. I'm telling you, it's like 16, 17 battles, and you probably have at least 14 to 15 that have really good replay value, really good back and forths. All right, Clone versus Def the Kid. So this is one, maybe not the greatest replay value in terms of a back and forth. I talked about Def the Kid. I actually picked him in my in in the lead up to the event because I did it more so out of a hope that this was an opportunity. It's a KOTD debut. I feel like he's taken a couple of L's in his last couple of battles, and I wanted to hopefully see him kind of break through that glass ceiling against a respected vet and Clone. And I mean, respectfully, man, Clone showed it was levels. Death had some good punches here and there, but some things fall flat. I feel like, and again, you can speak to this as a battle rapper when you get into your punch and you, not that you write for reaction, but when you're rapping and there's not much reaction, there's very little reaction at all. I feel like it messes with him a little bit, and I think that affected his energy. And then when Clone gets to going, and he gets to landing his back-to-back punches, and he's getting crazy reaction. Clone 3-0, man. Clone with the gentleman's 30. Like I said, I thought Death had some nice material here and there, but it just wasn't enough, man.
Yeah, basically, Death was he was kind of mid, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, I don't think he took full advantage of the opportunity. I've seen better Deaths, you know what I mean? And Clone is a very consistent battle rapper. He's very, digestible punchlines. He gets to the punch. He projects well. He raps well. And I think kind of like what you said is just like when things are just not hitting, it takes the kind of life out of your delivery, maybe for rounds 2 and 3. And so, like I said, Clone is one along with EK that I just wanted, like I even tweeted, I was like, I want to make sure y'all know, like, these two dudes performed at a very high level, like I felt like EK and Clone, like needs to be, because the Clone and Death battle, like you said, is not going to have that replay value, like after a couple months, I'm sure it's just going to kind of be a battle that happened, but Clone was really, really good in that King of the Dot battle. And, so he should be Absolutely. A name that the King of the Dot is definitely interested in booking on their cards in the future,
I mean, if they want to make Clone versus War happen, I know, shout out to Wartown Battle League. I know he's, you've been there before. I know that might be something he might try to set up for himself. I see this comment here. I prefer the bullpen version of Clone, but battle rap moves on. I'm not sure, Sheldon, what you mean by that. I mean, like I said, I thought Clone.
I'd like him to elaborate because that's interesting. That's a very interesting because I have a comment on which we can just go ahead. I won't take too long or whatever. But there are leagues that when you battle there so often, and you got the Bulls, or you got Water League, Sky League, or you got Gatekeepers, right? Like, it's cool to have a home and have a group of people that are like, but it can also handicap you and thwart your growth from when you do go out to other places and you pull up and you're used to everybody knowing your slogans, or you're used to getting reaction because you're you and you're this or you're that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can thwart that tremendously. You know what I mean? And, guys that really can transcend, the cult-like following of their own, their own leagues or whatever, like Real Sick, like Elijah Straight proved to do this weekend, because Elijah, he's heavily battled on, like, maybe not lately, since he's kind of jumped to URL and done a lot of different things, but at one time, Gates of the Garden, and, you got guys on iBattle that, heavily battle there. It's like, bro, like, when you come out here in this King of the Dot event, and now all of a sudden you ain't got all of the group behind you and all this, and everybody don't know your stuff, like, you got to stand on your own too, so Clone and Bullpen is, I think he's a good battler, but I don't know that I've ever seen like a version of Clone on Bullpen where I'm like, he's way better than what he did in King of the Dot,
Yeah, and I mean, respectfully, I feel like Clone's one of the more consistent battle rappers out here. Like, we don't, man, Sheldon, like, you really got to elaborate, my guy. Like he said, thanks. I also find that Clone's style change as well. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I feel like Clone is him. Like, I don't feel like he changed his style when he was on, because he was on King of the Dot's season, right? He's a part of their season. He's been on King of the Dot before. You go check out Clone when he battled he battled D.I. the Henny Man on the Riot, right? That was D.I., right? I'm not tripping.
Was it D.I.? You talking about when John battled E?
No. This was on the Riot. This was on the Riot.
Clone, right. I'm thinking about Trenches. I was trying to think of who he battled in the Trenches.
Nah, I can't remember who he battled on the Trenches, but dang, maybe it wasn't D.I. the Henny Man, but he battled on the Riot because I was there that night. I just can't remember who he battled. Was it Av? Dang,
Yeah,
you
no, he
might be
battled
right. Hold
Av.
on. But I thought that was bullpen. Let me see.
Oh
So let me pull
yeah,
up this
because that was
verse
the I'll be
tracker real
back
quick.
rap, right?
Nah, that's a long time ago. I don't think that was
Here
versus
we go. I'm
Clone.
pulling it up. I'm pulling it up on Genius. Here we go. Boom, boom.
Let me
Where's the
call on
list
this
at?
one.
Clone. Yeah, he battled
Uh,
Av. He battled NXT next. He battled next. Was that the night he battled next?
okay, yes. I was in the building for that. I'm not crazy. Yes, but I
Yeah.
feel like he was dope in that battle. I thought there was another battle he battled on. Now I'm gonna have to go see if I can find this find the flyers. But I thought he was on another battle on the Riot. But maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, I feel like Clone is pretty consistent. I feel like he's dope everywhere he goes. I feel like he puts on
He
good
did battle
performances,
Deotta
solid
Henny Man. It
performances.
might have been. Yeah, it was Deotta Henny Man then. Because it was
Yeah, I'm like,
2022, and that's when I battled Nitty. So when the night I battled Nitty, he battled Deotta Henny Man. Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't see that on his verse tracker. So I wonder if they just never dropped the battle. But yeah, man.
Lying.
So like I
That was
said,
initiation. That was URL initiation. Anyway, we're all over the place, but yeah.
all right, man. Let's get to this next battle, man, because this is one of my favorite battles I got a chance to watch. Forward Dev on the Riot. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I'm like, I know it was somebody on the Riot because I was in the building for it. Appreciate you.
That's Chris too. He just had back surgery and he drove 4 hours each day. He didn't stay. He had stuff to do, so he drove 4 hours for day one. Went home. Then drove 4 hours. Him and Duchess. I don't know if Chris himself drove the 4 hours, but shout out to my guy, man. He holds it down, bro.
Yo, that is respect, man. Like for real, because you know who wouldn't have did that? Your boy. I would have been at the crib, feet up. Hey, babe, can you rub my back? Hey, can you cut the battles? Thank you. I appreciate you. Just give me a sandwich and a drink, and I'm good for the night. All right. Anyway, the next battle on the card. Danny Myers versus Elijah Strait. I just want to say, man, shout out to Elijah. I don't know if he's still watching right now. Elijah's been in two of my favorite battles to watch this year. Him versus Foots on OSBL. Super dope battle. This one, I don't know what the backstory was with him and Danny, but the energy was there from round one. They're in each other's
face off.
I did not watch any face-offs. So my apologies. Yeah. Life is life. And I didn't watch no face-offs. But all I know is from the opening jump, Danny Myers got in Elijah's face after like his first punch, first 4 bars. What's up? And I'm like, okay, well, turn up then. All right. Dope back and forth, man. I had Elijah with first and third. I thought Danny got the second. I'm sorry, Elijah, but he called you the Temu version of Nitty. I'm sorry. That was hilarious. I don't necessarily tend to agree all the way with that, but that was funny. But great battle, great back and forth, man. Like I said, definitely one. When it drops on YouTube, I'm going to be watching that several times. I've already gone back and watched it twice since I watched it live. How do you call Elijah and Danny?
Yeah, actually, I think I had it Danny first, Elijah second and third. I know I gave Elijah the battle. And man, Elijah was so good, man. So good. And shout out to both of them. They both battled the night before. They literally both Elijah had 3 rounds, I believe, the night before. And Danny had a 1-rounder on the Midwest Legacy card with Fonz the night before. Like, incredible to be able to do that. Like, just super incredible. Elijah, bro, just all 3 rounds. Danny kind of started here and kind of tailed off. Elijah, to me, was just like here every round, all 3 rounds. The one thing I love about Elijah is, a lot of us, like we navigate, we might use a gun bar here or two or whatever, but you don't really hear any gun bars from Elijah. Like, his stuff is so witty, he might get aggressive and knock you out, or he might, I'll kill you, I'll do this or whatever. But like, a lot of his stuff is like haymakers in the form of, pin the tail on a donkey. I'm a complete animal, like just like stuff that is just so crazy, and then like the one thing that I love is like that he's growing in, and he's getting so much better in. This is like the opener to his first round, like I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm not gonna talk about your wife. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna bring that. I'm not gonna bring that 12K back because Rex didn't either. You know, like the so good. Like that's like fire writing that's like applicable and it's like leading the crowd one way and then bringing like you know he had the crowd on a string. Like he really did. He had the ball on a string. And you know, I had Elijah winning the battle. The face off. You know, Elijah beat Danny in the face off worse than a lot of. I don't know if I've seen too many face offs that where Elijah, he smoked Danny with very few words and had Danny so mad and out of character. And it wasn't even in person face off; it was just on Spaces. And I even said afterwards, I'm like, I think he might have put the bear. Like, I don't know if you wanted to like piss off Danny like that. You know what I mean? And it was just it was so good, man. And that's why I think you saw that energy. You're muted, by the way. That's why I think you saw that energy from Danny in that first round where he's just like, yo, I'm about to walk you down, you know?
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find this on YouTube then.
Yeah,
okay.
If that space is still up. So good.
Dope. All right. So let's get going because we're getting late in the night. All right. So next battle, Yoshi G versus Chirac. I don't have too much to say. I heard this battle, but I didn't hear the battle, right? So if that makes sense. Like I was moving around, I was listening, I wasn't watching. So I'm catching the bars, but I'm not locked in. From what I heard, I had Chirac with the I guess I don't know if you can say gentleman's 30. With the ladies 30, right? I had her taking every round. I felt like Yoshi tried to counterwrite the thought bar angles that Chirac came with. I just feel like Chirac had better thought bar, attacked her on her thottiness better than Yoshi G tried to defend her thottiness. Did you get a chance to check this one out?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I know I had the first two rounds clearly to Chirac. The third round, it was Yoshi's best round, you know what I mean? And it could have been, a close or whatever. But man, there's a level of writing and delivery that I wasn't too familiar with Chirac. Like I'd probably seen clips of her battles, and I might have seen a battle of hers in person at an event once, but I wasn't too familiar. And like, don't get it twisted. Like you're throwing these ladies up here, this crowd's pretty packed. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of big, projection, like guys that are performing and doing a whole lot, like you just have Elijah and Danny Myers who are loud, and it's kind of like, whoo, we're gonna see if they sink or swim, you know what I mean? And the crowd was engaged and Chirac's delivering material, and like I told you, like they still would have ended up in the system. Like they're just like punchlines, and I'm just like, if like this is a level of like I didn't realize that this girl punched on, and
man,
yeah,
she said you should have swallowed them kids. They still ended up in the system.
I was like, golly, that might be one of the bars of the weekend, And so when she's clicking on all cylinders, she's really, really dope.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, let's jump to this next one. Real Sick versus Clips. I don't think we need to elaborate on this. Sick 30. We already told you what was gonna happen. Clips, he gave us a good performance.
Clips, he strikes again. Like, I know that we talk about like Real Sick, like 30 body or whatever, but this wasn't one of Real Sick's best performances that we've seen.
So I won't name the person I had this conversation with, but it's a media person within the culture. And we've had this conversation offline about Charlie Clips's ability to drag you down with his performance.
Yeah.
I do not, and I don't know if it's just because like, what can you say to it's almost like the rich person, right? Where do you get the person who has everything? What can you say to Charlie Clips at this point? Right? People have already hammered him about his predictableness. People have hammered him about his lack of preparation, about his lack of care for the culture. Like we've run the your father's a rat angle into the ground. What can you say to Clips at this point? What are you going to say to him? And yes, Sick was dope. Shout out to Chris. He's got Sick 30. He was dope, but I agree. It wasn't. So I'm going to use you as an example. It wasn't the level of performance he had against you. It wasn't the level of performance. I feel like he was really dope.
As an example, saying my Clips battle wasn't the level of performance that you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah, I don't get it. And like I said, we had that. It is something that needs to be studied because I do not understand how it happens. Jazz the Rapper. I've liked Luke Castro, but he was a good Clips that performance. And
Yeah.
Luke Castro did his best, but it was a Clips 30. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Shout out to this comment. Let me see if I can get it from Kenya.
Yo.
Shout out to Kenya in the building. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. But yeah, man, I do not understand it at all. It's crazy. Shout out to Mama Ward. How do you have a serious battle with Clips? I'm gonna tell you.
I told myself like, oh well, it's the second time I battled him. So the first time I battled him is actually a really good one rounder, mind you. But I used a lot of like my first, 6 minutes of material that I would have first wrote for the opponent. So it's tough, Like consider he make Easy look mid. He makes like Real Sick. I mean, don't get twisted. Real Sick 3, Real Sick had a couple moments. They still listening, super fire. But it's kind of like, it wasn't like oh my God, he sent Clips somewhere.
It wasn't like Av did Clips, or like how Nitty did Clips. Like Av sent Clips his song, right? So I mean that's what we're saying. Like you would think that when you get kind of this run of the mill Clips performance that the guys at the top of the game are just going to smoke him, and he somehow escapes. He never gets body. I mean, even one last thing, and we can move on. Even the Geechee Gotti performance, which was a decent Clips, but in the third, he's like he's clearly choking. He's clearly choking, and people are still trying to give him the round. And I'm going, what are we doing?
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, bro.
I guess, man. I guess. All right.
He's undefeated on the URL app still.
You lying.
No,
you are lying. I'm going to check that out after the show. You're lying. Yep. I don't believe you. Frack versus John the Don.
Frack versus John.
Battle Rap Wild Takers Clips hasn't had a great performance between Clips Tay-Rock Part 1 and Clips Castro. Don't kill me, y'all. I'm not a historian like that, so I can't tell you all the battles he's had in between there. His Easy performance wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I thought he beat Easy, by the way. And I think Easy even admitted that.
He just didn't change up very much. I mean, he didn't change up very much. He just had a little bit better materials, wrapped it the same way, and had, the angles and a couple things to like really like hammer stuff home,
Him versus Yoshi wasn't bad. Like I'm trying to cycle through my head.
Yeah.
Him versus Yoshi wasn't bad. But all right, Frack versus John the Don. Let's jump into these last two battles, man, so we can get up out of here.
Yeah. Arguably the best battle of the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a really, really, really good battle. This was a high IQ battle. This is strategy battle. This is angles. This is polar opposites in stature and just about everything. You know what I mean? Yes, you're definitely right. Him and Rosenberg.
Rosenberg Raw.
Yeah. So that's just kind of why, this battle going into it, there was a little storyline behind it. They're going back and forth. There's some, John feeling like the underdog, trying to play the underdog role going into it, and this, at the end of the day, they both did exactly what they were supposed to do, I'm actually with Chris, I would like to watch it back. That's fact. That's fact. Yeah, I'm telling you, you know what? Remember I was talking about energy with the source. Like it's when you're turning around and people are like got you like that, like you're delivering things. So and so like Sick is like like is he's right though. When you gotta carry a battle off the energy, like that's tough. But John and Frack, they both go in there, they both do exactly what they're supposed to do, right? The angles are there. The moments are there, the rapping is there, and I think to me and I'd like to go back and watch it because I read Jay Smo's article where he said he had Frack winning it on first watch and he had John winning it on the second watch. What I had John with the round of the battle, second round bombing on Frack, thought it was like the most impressive round of the battle at that point. Could have been round of the night, it's going into it. But I had Frack edging at first, and then to me in the third round, the Jordan Holloway angle that he was trying to execute to me just fell a little flat. I'm not saying that the angle is not true or whatever, because it's been used. I watched the source take that angle from A to Z, you know, and dissect it and just really put it together. You know what I mean? And so I just didn't think that the way John executed it, it hit as hard for me. So like I gave Frack, after he got into the bag in his third of the Mama Say, Mama Side, put my people in my oven, Papa John, boom, boom, boom. As he's getting into that bag or whatever, you know, that's when I started edging Frack the third round. And it didn't hit, but I thought the last bar of his round, like, you know, John, you know, whatever, he's like, history, like your name, has a strange way of repeating itself. I thought that was just a very well-written, you know, ender to the round.
Wow. Okay. So this is why battle rap is subjective, because the entire time, let me get to Chris's point. I read Schmo's review too. I had Frack 2-1 both watches. Duchess actually had Frack 3-0 on second watch. Don't let John hear this, because
I just thought John's was. I'll say this much: just I'm a little bit of a John hater, so take it as you may. Like, it got old with all the Jew, YOUJEW thing. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, you pick a few or whatever, but you can't just keep saying how good you rap. Oh, would you look? It's literally the same flip on the same word over and over and over.
I'm going to say this. Would you look at that being a haymaker in battle rap in 2024 was not something I expected. I will say that. Just out of context, right? Go watch the battle for yourself. But you might have convinced me in this moment to actually switch my pick from John 2-1 to Frack 2-1. I need to go back and watch it. I do think it's a debatable battle. I made a joke on Twitter of, I don't know how the heck this battle is going to be able to get on Twitter with all of the thematic jokes from John in that second round. I was like, my guy is spamming the button on it right now. I mean, even his intro I thought was incredibly risky, right? He's like, did the Holocaust really happen? I don't know. You weren't there. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I was like, oh, my boy, like you're really taking a stand here. But okay, do you, John? I thought Frack got the first. I had John taking the second and the third. I definitely need a rewatch on this one. I may come to the same conclusion that you, Tex, Duchess, and everybody else have reached that it is Frack indeed 2-1. It's a debatable battle. I'm not mad at people.
Moral victory guy. I'm not like a big moral victory guy, but for Frack to do that outside of the Bay, like, he doesn't have a lot of battles. You know what I mean? Outside of the Bay.
Yeah.
You know, I think the SoulCon battle was like the first, and that was kind of like a neutral ground type thing. For him to go up against John, you know, who is John, like, is, whether you love him or hate him, he's polarizing. He's John the Don, right? And for him to put on that performance and have what I believe is like a battle of the night, debatable with John, like I said, no moral victories, but like, if you got him losing, he's not losing by very much. You know what I mean? And I think that he showed out and put on. I mean, I know he showed out. Like, you can see the post-game interviews from people. You can see Mook doing interviews, talking how crazy Frack went. You can see other guys, you know, interviewing and say, hey, Frack, hey, let's talk battle rap, saying they have battle of the night. That means you're doing something right. You know what I mean? And he competed on a high level. So shout out to him. And shout out to John, man. 3 weeks removed from the Serious Jones battle. You know, he comes in like super late notice, 3 days for Serious Jones, becomes the people's champ, rescuing this battle, puts on a performance without stumbling, battles Frack, and now he's on his way to coffee. Like that, man, he's, you know, that's tough. That's tough. It's tough to do.
And we're about to get into this. I'll use this as a jump off segment for the last battle of the night, the main event. I know a lot of people say, man, Cody's wrapped up, Tay-Rock, so this, that, and third. John the Don, man. He's got
a top 5 years.
Quietly putting together. And listen, King of the Dot, I don't know if y'all plan on having another event this year, but I want to put this comment on the screen. Oh, that's not the shot. That was not the comment I was looking to put on the screen. It just popped up because that was the newest one. John talking about the Jewish African-American issues at the very least hilarious, but overall crazy. Listen, man, don't get King of the Dot canceled out here, John. But this was the comment I was gonna put on the screen. John versus A Ward would be a crazy battle. Organic. I don't know if y'all plan on having another event this year. I don't know if y'all plan on having a blackout this year. But if you plan on having one more event this year, maybe to close out 2024, Blackout, John and Don, A Ward. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be a very good battle. And I feel like he exhausted some of the white boy angles too. So we have to find something else to talk about versus you. But that's neither here nor
I got
there.
plenty to talk about, John. I got plenty.
All right. So I'm not gonna stoke that fire any more than it's already been stoked. Let's jump into the main event. Big K versus Tay Rock. This is one of the mega matches of the year. One of the most highly anticipated battles of the year. Years in the making. Hold on. Sorry, one last point. John lied and said he would say no to battling Ward on Twitter. I mean, you know.
That man John battled Reggie P last year. He'll battle me. If the money's there, like, we're not going to sit here. John's still at his battle rap stage, all right? In life, that man will battle me. You just got to catch him at the right time.
All right, Big K, Tay Rock. A really entertaining battle. Dare I say, great battle. Little bit of aggression, an almost fight. It's everything you want in a battle rap event, right? You got the animosity, you got the aggression, you got the almost fight, you got the blue room showing up, you got Big K doing it for all the follically challenged brothers like myself, and showing the bald head, which I have to say, it's Twerk's reaction, I think, says it all. Like, we were all shocked. This is another highly debatable battle. I got probably Rock first and third. The only thing I will say is I do wish that Rock would have wrote a little bit within the time limits. I get it. It's your debut. It's a semi-grudge match. You're trying to prove this is pretty much a URL versus RBE or URL versus KOTD battle, however you want to chop it up, right? I do wish he would have written a little bit within the time limits. I do think the material that he had, even before the extra that he put in, was good. Like, I think it was enough to win him the first and third. Shout out to Shad. He said this was nearly a classic. The wrestling scheme, listen, man, that wrestling scheme in the third was fire. Slap your aunt, tell your uncle howdy. The big boss man bar. I like. Shout to the Wyatt Six that he then brought after that. The big boss man bar, fire. That wrestling scheme, I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to ask you this point, and then I'll use this as a jumping off segment for you to get your views off on the battle. Chris says his first was over 11 minutes. At what point do you get penalized for it? And so this is why I say I wish he would have written within the time limits. And I'll let you have your say.
Yeah.
Because Rock is such a consistent writer, right? Even if some of the stuff you go, that don't make sense. I don't like that. I feel like Big K talked about that in his second. He's such a consistent writer that it's not going to be enough of a fall off to where you start to penalize him for the round. Right? But after a while, it's just like, bro, I'm not listening anymore. Like, I even put on Twitter, Rock's round ended for me in my head. When I watch it back, I'm cutting it off after the wrestling scheme. I don't want to hear what he says after that. But your thoughts?
It's not uncharacteristic for Rock to write rounds like that. So, you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing to take from it. So, main event, grudge match, right? From what I gathered, the contracts were probably 3 minutes with a 3:30 grace, right? Everybody else that I talked to's contracts were 90-second rounds with 2-minute grace, right? Mind you, my rounds are like 2:15, 2:20. You know, when I talked to the source before the battle, he said his rounds were 2 minutes. I was like, you want me to clip mine? He's like, no, you're good. You know, there's kind of understanding if it's, you're talking a matter of 4, 8 bars or whatever. Got you. So here's the thing. It's uncharacteristic of Rock to, it's not uncharacteristic for Rock to go in a rap 4 or 5 minute rounds. So when you're going into a main event that has Cody implications, right? So beyond just all Massacre, huge Cody implications, right? And you're going into that match and whatever, like, he's clipped up something serious. He hasn't battled, I don't think, since Jerry West. He was at one time, he was battling every other week, 2 people in a weekend.
Yeah.
Hasn't battled since Jerry West. He's clipped up something serious. 2, you know that he knows it's his debut. He's Tay-Rock on King of the Dot. You know what I mean? Like, Gannick looked crazy calling time on Tay-Rock. Smack ain't never called time on Tay-Rock. You know, nobody else. It's gonna look crazy, Gannick trying to call time on Tay-Rock. You know, he did exactly what he said. No, this is my debut, and kept rapping. You know, so going into that, Big K has to know that. You know what I mean? Like, Big K has to know that. I'm not saying like, I'm saying what Big K either needs to do is he needs to incorporate that into his 3.5 minute rounds. You know what I mean? And counter right. Like, he gonna sit up here and spit 24 more. You know what I mean? Like, he gonna sit up here and rap forever. You know what I mean? To diffuse it. But like, penalizing him for it in this particular situation is difficult, because like, that's kind of what he's known for. It's like 5-minute rounds. And it's not like K wrote 2-minute rounds, you know? And so that's the thing that's up is, you know, I think when you look at actually the material, I know Rock's first was 11 minutes long. I think his second was around 11 minutes too. This is real time. This is not, you know, when it's material. I think he had 5.5 minute rounds, and I think K had 3.5, you know, to 4. K had the 2 biggest moments of the battle, you know, still had great material, still was punching, you know. But when you start looking at a battle and you want to get down to who won based off of, then yeah, it's difficult. It's like, yo, you just had 24 more bars than me that round. And we're talking about like a highly debatable battle, you know? It's like, come on now. Like, you know, that's the difficult part about it.
Yeah. Some of these comments for the record, Chris says I had K2 1 second and third. Sheldon was not a fan of the wrestling scheme. Mama Ward, I definitely was not bored. I'm surprised K didn't call time. I mean, Organic tried to stop him. K didn't really, when they had a little misunderstanding where it kind of went back and forth, I feel like they tried, like Organic tried to stop him. Maybe K might have said something amidst the whole "don't touch me, you're rapping too long." Maybe he might have said something then. But if the league owner can't get him to stop, what do you expect Big K to do?
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. So how do you call that back?
Is like, you know, K looking at Gannick like, dang, I'm already, you know, battling the guy that came over here for his first time, and you treating him, you know, like he's the home guy. You know what I mean? And so it's a tough scenario for all of them. Shout out to K, man. Like I said, I was talking about with like Thesaurus, you know, like you look back there and Rock's got all his people, you know, he got Geechee, he got John, he got, you know, Mook, he got Rex, he got all that.
Word.
You know, and K is over there standing on his own too. You know what I mean? And
respect.
You know, that stuff matters, you know, and that's why I love that battle. Like I said, yeah, I would like to have been a little shorter. But I just love that battle because it had everything you want in it. It had the animosity, the almost fight, flip to the second round, the Baldy, people laughing, giving high fives. You know what I mean? It almost got a little too nice. I kind of wish it would have flipped back over to a little bit aggressive, but it got a little bit too smiley and stuff. But then the blue room, the everything, man. So much great stuff in that battle. It's rewatchable. And that's what you want your main event for the weekend to be. You know, that's what you want it to be. And that's when you can create an event like, hey, my main event, the one I mostly paid for, the one most people paid for, was successful. And that's super dope. Shout out to TBL.
Yes, my bad. I forgot about Twerk and Pass. So real quick, I just want to say this. Shout out to Pass. Pass, one of the solidified vets in this game. This is Twerk 30, but this is not like he 30 a bad pass. I just want to read something real quick. I posted this in our group chat today. Let me pull this up real quick. This is from Pass's first round. I think it's really good writing, right? He goes, "This is a death sentence. There's no conviction in this prior speech. You try to reach, I'm going to fire off the belt like a lighter leash. Don't bar with me. Bogart got my own armory. Don't nobody go harder, flow sharper. I go archery. There'll be wires hooked up to bro arteries. He'll need an organ donor and still don't want no parts of me."
So good.
Fire.
Yeah.
Love it. And I typed it and posted it in the group because I wanted everyone to read it. It was really nice. Then Twerk gets up there and says, "Conjoined twins. I'm a people person." Or what did he say? I guess you watching a star before you pass.
Yeah.
I mean,
battle
What
rap
are you
is a battle
supposed
rap
to?
is it's a punchline era, and I mean the guys got to know that, you know, like the writers got to know that,
Yeah.
like if you're still rapping very well and you're rhyming words and multis and doing that kind of stuff, that's all cool. But we are in a what's the punchline? You know what I mean? Like where's the aggression? Where's the setting it up and delivering it? You know what I mean? Because it's just that's exactly what it is, you know. And that's the era that
Yeah.
we're in. You know, there was a time in battle rap where that rapping and everything was super fire. And there's a coast or there's a league that still might react to that you might be highly successful on. But like a Massacre 6 in front of a twerk, like everybody's thinking it. Like this is such a style clash that if twerk is 3 prepared rounds, I don't know how the best pass competes with that.
Man, I mean, this question: do you think past sticking the time limits might have been what led to the 30? No.
Guess what?
No, because
Twerk stuck in the time limits. I think Twerk didn't go too much over the time limits. He just got way more.
I think he might hit. Yeah, his first might have been a little bit lengthy because I think Organic might have said something to him, and he kind of said, like, that's the only one. Like the rest of them, I'm good. Like, yeah. But I mean, Twerk just had. I mean, again, if you're past and you're going to be a rapidy rapper, that's fine. That's okay. That's dope. But when you have a punch, that punch better rock the room because Twerk is going to have 3, 4, 5 of them around, and it's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough. And again, salute the Pat. Like when you watch that battle, you're not going to watch that battle and go, man, Pass was just
No.
It wasn't good. He was really good. His second, I forget what he said in the second. I mean, I like the bar he had about this is the Kamala Harris bar about we don't want to see no twerk. Like he had a bunch of really dope material, man, but twerk was just different, bro. Like the buddy pass, you can even bring your buddy pass. We just got brothers on standby. I mean the you answer call for scam likely. Oh my God.
Yeah, Pat.
That's a lie.
Pat. I mean, Pass. That's you're like you too much of a vet to be answering questions. You can't answer the questions. You can't answer the questions.
That's a lie. We saw you give 100,000 to Bill. Like dog, like that is that at that point I got the face of that lady from Us. No. Like no more. Please stop. Oh my gosh, man. Twerk is a different monster, man. He's a different monster. But anyway, that has been
John Twerk.
Wow.
I see y'all. Y'all try to take my performance of the night weekend thing, so I got you.
Hey, organic. Look at
Twerk
me.
said I gotta do URL.
URL? Okay. Kiko, Beasley, Smack. I don't care where y'all do it. Whenever it happens, I'm going to be there. Whenever this battle goes down. But somebody set it up. We've waited long enough. We almost had it once before. We understand fate intervened. It didn't happen. It's time, people. We need Twerk versus A-Ward. I don't care who puts it on. Riot, OSBL, iBattle. I don't care if y'all come together and form a super league and put it together. We need Twerk versus A-Ward. Please stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. We need this battle. You see how serious I am? I took the glasses off and I put my face into the camera. I put my ugly mug into the camera just to let you know I'm not playing with y'all. Stop playing. Put the battle on. Put the battle together. I'm not playing with y'all. All right, man. I'm done.
Massacre 6 was crazy. Shout out to King of the Dot. Shout out to Takeover Battle League, man. Shout out to everybody that pulled up.
For sure.
It was dope, man. It's great to see all of those guys too. When you get to go out and there's a 2-day event, you got 30-something battle rappers, and it's good to kind of just see your peers, chop it up with them, talk about life and everything. And we had some, all of us had some good conversations and stuff. And so yeah, it was a successful weekend. I wish you could have been there. I know. But yeah, the next one, bro.
Man, yeah, shout out to everybody that was there, man. I saw Primo, Rose, Shy was in the building, Josie Gang in the building, man. I wish I could have been there. Next time. I'm going to make sure I pull up, man. Make sure life is in a good place for me and I can do that. So, Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all on YouTube, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the broadcast. Please remember you can check every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment. You can also check us out on YouTube at some point during the week. Just look for a day that ends in Y. You can check us out, Brains and Bars. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share, tell a friend, it's those boys again. Check us out, Instagram.
10-0. 10-0.
That's crazy.
He don't lose.
Respect the clips, man. Respect it. He lost this weekend, but respect the clips, man. I hope they put that on you. No, never mind. That's hate. That's hate. My bad, clips. I apologize. Pardon self. Anyway, you can check us out, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, at Brains and Bars. Until next week, it's been a black
and white
thing. Shout out to Mama Ward. Once again, shout out to everybody in the comments. Sorry, Corshell. Going out the door. If you could do a 2-on-2 with someone not in the 4 Horsemen, who would it be?
T-Rex. We're going to set it up.
Rex said he wanted to do a 2-on-2 with Ward, by the way. I think that's on camera. So, yes, I would love to see Rex and Ward in a 2-on-2.
I pick it up, put it back on his head, he slams it, and I pick it up.
All right, man. We holler at y'all next week, man. Y'all be